Dear English learner, if you've clicked on this video, it means you're interested in finding out your current English level. And Cambridge has designed a test just for us non-native speakers to evaluate our skills. So let's jump straight into it. But before we start, I will tell you how this is going to work. So I will read each question, following which I will read the 3 or 4 given answers, and your job is to select one option before I tell you the correct answer and give you a brief explanation as to why that is the correct answer. You should note down your answers in a notepad file like this one, or in a notebook if you're an old school type. You can see I've given you an example here. So we have number 1, and let's say you chose B as your answer. You can write Y, meaning yes, correct. But if your answer was incorrect, you should write N, incorrect, and then next to that, write the correct answer. Let's say A was the correct one. There are 25 questions in total. So after we've done everything, you should count the number of correct answers and write that number down in the comments so I can tell you your current English level. Without further ado, let's start with this. Question 1 says, can I park here? Answer A, sorry, I did that. Answer B, it's the same place. Answer C, only for half an hour. This is pretty simple, so let's not waste any time on it. The correct answer is C, only for half an hour. Why? Because by telling the person only for half an hour, you're essentially saying yes. So you don't have to explicitly say it. You are implying it's okay, but there is a time limit. Question number 2, what color will you paint the children's bedroom? A, I hope it was right. B, we can't decide. C, it wasn't very difficult. I'll give you a couple of seconds. The correct answer is B, we can't decide. Why? Well, again, it's all about the context. There are so many different colors available. Maybe they're thinking about blue, maybe maroon, maybe orange, but they just can't decide. Other options don't make sense. Number 3, I can't understand this email. A, would you like some help? B, don't you know? C, I suppose you can. Well, maybe some people would say, I suppose you can, but yeah, it doesn't really make sense in this context. However, the correct answer is A, would you like some help? Naturally, when somebody is struggling, you should offer them a hand. Number 4, I'd like 2 tickets for tomorrow night. I'd is the contraction of I would in this case. Option A, how much did you pay? Option B, afternoon and evening. Option C, I'll just check for you. You might go for option B. I feel like some of you will choose that. However, the correct answer is option C. I'll just check for you. In this situation, you are that person working at the counter selling tickets. Afternoon and evening make no sense because the person has already mentioned tomorrow night. Afternoon and evening are other parts of the day which come beforehand, so that would be complete nonsense. I'll just check for you means you're entering their wishes in the database and checking if tickets are available or not. The final one on this page, shall we go to the gym now? Option A, I'm too tired. Option B, it's very good. Option C, not at all. I mean, again, maybe some people would go for option C if they feel like there's absolutely no chance. But the most probable, the most logical response would be option A, I'm too tired. Like, I can't do it right now. So far, so good, guys. Let's proceed to the next page and delete this red line. His eyes were blank, bad, that he couldn't read the number plate of the car in front. Such to so very. Okay, now we're talking. Now this is more challenging, and the correct answer is option C. So in this case is talking about the degree of something, especially with the result that comes afterwards. His eyes were so bad, like up to that point where he couldn't read the number plate of the car in front. Another example could be, this video is so good that you will have to like it. It's like it reaches this point of quality that forces you to perform the action of liking the video. Hopefully, you'll be the judge at the end. Next one, the company needs to decide blank and for all what its position is on this point. Here, once, first, finally. I think you can also pause the video and think about it because now it's getting harder. But in order not to make this video super long, I'll just tell you the answer right away. It is once. Once and for all is an idiom, so you're gonna use it to say something should be decided and stay that way essentially forever. Once, now, and for all, forever. It's an idiom, so once and for all, always. Next up, don't put your cup on the or the blank of the table. Someone will knock it off. Outside edge, boundary, border. Another tricky one. Pause the video if you'd like. But the correct answer here is edge. Edge of the table. We're talking about an object inside the house. Boundaries and borders are similar to edges, but boundaries and borders are used in more formal contexts of countries or certain areas, regions, Edges are for objects. So edge of the table or edge of the seat. I'm sorry, I didn't blank to disturb you. Hope, think, mean, suppose. Again, tough. And the answer might surprise you. The answer here is mean. Now you might ask yourself, what do you mean? How can that be correct? Well, mean in this case is not related to meaning. Like when we say, oh, what does this mean? That's another thing. Here, mean is related to intention. Like, I didn't intend to disturb you is what you're saying in this sentence. I didn't mean to scare you. Like if you suddenly spook someone and you want to apologize, you can tell them, I didn't mean to scare you. Like, I'm sorry, it wasn't my intention. The final one on this page, the singer ended the concert, blank, her most popular song, by, with, in, as. Okay, this is hard. And, it's one of those questions that require a lot of practice and listening to native speakers. It's not something that you will really learn by heart as a piece of grammar, but I can tell you should go for with her most popular song. With, it refers to inclusion. So, with her most popular song. With her best friend. By would require an action, a method. So she ended the concert by performing her most popular song. We're gonna have something like a noun at the end. So the concert ended in disaster. And as is for comparison or degree, it's not really good in this case. Let's move on to the next one. Would you mind blank these plates a wipe before putting them in the cupboard? Well, we're giving these plates a wipe. To give plus noun is equal to the verb action in some cases. So for example, can you give me a kiss would be equal to can you kiss me? Like, maybe it's not the best sentence as an example, but grammatically that is the concept. In this case, give plates a wipe or wipe these plates would be another possible option if we use wipe as a verb. Next up, I was looking forward, blank, at the new restaurant, but it was closed. To eat, to have eaten, to eating, eating. What's the correct one here? This one always confuses my students, and I'm trying my best to explain to them why it is the way it is. And the correct option here is to eating. Now, yes, this goes against so many things you were taught at school, like we should use to plus the bare infinitive, or we should use eating as a gerund. How can we combine to and eating? Well, this to is actually not tied to eating, it is tied to forward. We always look forward to something. We could have a noun, I'm looking forward to your concert, or in this case, we have a gerund, eating. I was looking forward to eating. We could also say, I looked forward to eating. It would be completely correct. And I think, when there's no ing, it's slightly less confusing. People tend to assume that if you have, ing here, you can't have another ing form right afterwards, but it's not correct. So I was looking forward to eating. I was looking forward to playing. I'm looking forward to meeting your best friend next week. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Blank, tired Melissa is when she gets home from work. She always makes time to say goodnight to the children. She's a great mom. Whatever, no matter how, however much, although. This one is tough. This one is tough. Think about it. The correct answer is no matter how. No matter how hard you try, you will still fail. I mean, that's not the most motivational sentence, but grammatically that is the structure. So it doesn't matter what you do at first, the result is still the same. It's called a concession. Next up, it was only 10 days ago, blank, she started her new job. Then, since, after that, this is called a cleft sentence. They are used for emphasis, and the correct option here is that. That is simply connecting the two clauses. The more natural order would be she started her new job 10 days ago, but we're emphasizing that it was only 10 days ago. So that she started her new job. The shop didn't have the shoes I wanted, but they've blank a pair specially for me. Booked, ordered, commanded, asked. Well, I guess, you can assume that commanded is not going to be correct because it's simply too strong. We're not in the military. As for the remaining three, I can tell you the correct one is ordered. I think it's obvious. You might think that they're trying to throw you off with this one, but it's the only correct one. Ask is, too informal. They're not asking anyone for anything. They're, ordering. It's business. And booked is used for, making reservations for services. We book appointments, book classes. We don't book pairs of shoes. We order them. They're a physical product. So let's move on to the next one. Have you got time to discuss your work now, or are you to leave. Thinking, round, planned, about. This is a collocation, about to leave. When you tell someone you're about to leave, it means you're going to leave very soon. There's nothing much to say here. Let's move on to the next one. She came to live here, blank, a month ago, quite, beyond, already, almost. I think most of you are going to get this one right, even though it's a bit confusing, but almost is the correct choice because it means it hasn't been a full month yet. Quite would be an intensifier, so it's not correct here. Beyond, it's not used in this context. Already will mostly be used with present perfect. You know, she has been living here for a month, but not with the past simple structure. Once the plane is in the air, you can blank your seat belts if you wish. Undress, unfasten, unlock, untie. Well, not undress. Let's agree on that. You might be inclined to say unlock. Not sure about untie if you're gonna go in that direction, but unfasten is the only correct choice. We fasten our seat belts, whether it's in the car or on the plane, and we lock the doors of our houses. I left my last job because I had no blank to travel. Place, position, opportunity, possibility. Let's narrow it down to two options, opportunity and possibility. What do you think is which do you think is correct? If you said possibility, you are incorrect. It is opportunity. What's the difference? Opportunity means a chance. Possibility means ability, whether something is realistically possible or not. Opportunity, this person had no opportunity, means it wasn't part of their job, but they still could have traveled if they wished so. Possibility, if there's no possibility, it means it's physically not possible. Like the people at the airport could tell you there's no possibility of flying today because of this huge storm outside. The final one, let's just delete these lines. It wasn't a bad crash and blank damage was done to my car. Little, small, light, mere. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm really curious what you're going to select. But the correct one is little. We say little damage. Light damage, I don't know. I mean, small is incorrect because we use small with countable nouns. Mere is not correct in this context because mere is used to kind of emphasize how insignificant something is. This cost mere $5, like it's nothing. Light damage, I think you could hear native speakers say that, but little is the most correct one here because little is used with uncountable nouns and damage is uncountable. The final page, we're getting close to the end. I'd rather you blank to her why we can't go. Would explain, explained, to explain, will explain. This one is hard. I can tell you that, and I would be surprised if many of you got it right. And the correct answer is explained. Now, what the hell? Like, how can you combine would rather, explained, past tense, and then can't go, which is in the present? Well, this is a special structure of would rather plus another person and then past simple. So if this was about you in the first person, you would say, I would rather I tell her. You would use the present. But when the object is another person, you use the past tense. I would rather you explain to her why we can't go. So even though the verb is in the past, the context is still about the present and the future. Remember that. Rather, you explained. Before making a decision, the leader considered all blank of the argument: sides, features, perspectives, shades. What's the correct one here? It's going to be sides of the argument. That is a collocation. We always talk about different sides of the argument. It's never going to be features, different perspectives. We can talk about different perspectives, but not of the argument. It's always going to be sides. 2 or 3 more. This new printer is recommended as being blank reliable, greatly, highly, strongly, and readily. What's the correct one here? We use highly reliable. Again, it's a collocation, so highly reliable. We don't say greatly reliable, we say highly reliable. Not strongly, not readily. For example, we will not say highly available. It's readily available, for example. That's another collocation. The problem with collocations is that, those are 2 words that usually go together, and sometimes, the first word in the pair could have a total synonym, like for example, ill and sick. They both mean somebody is having a disease, somebody has a disease, but they're not going to be used in the same collocations. So we're going to say, sick as a dog. We're not going to say ill as a dog, but also we're going to talk about an ill-lit street, not a sick lit street. That means not well lit. So there isn't enough light. And those are collocations. So you have to learn them by heart. You have to memorize them. There's no real way of learning them in a more efficient way. When I realized I had dropped my gloves, I decided to blank my steps. Retrace, regress, resume, return. What's the correct one here? So this person dropped their gloves and then they had to go back. They had to retrace their steps. Regress, resume, return, they all mean different things. They were following their footsteps. The final one, Anne's house is somewhere in the blank of the railway station, region, quarter, vicinity, district. Let's be quick with this one because my next lesson is around the corner. I have to be ready for that. So, region, quarter, vicinity, district. It is vicinity. Vicinity refers to how close something is. If it is in the vicinity of something, it is nearby. Region, quarter, district would be formal segments, formal areas. The region of the railway station would be the name of that region. Vicinity of the railway station means it's close to it. Let's submit our answers, see if we made any mistakes. It will be funny, but I'm pretty confident we got it all right. Yes, that's right. So if you guys answered the same as I did, you're ready, you're potentially ready to take your C2 proficiency exam. Of course, maybe you just got lucky, but if you would like to practice more tests like this, you should also write that in the comments and I can make similar videos in the future. Once again, don't forget to write your score down in the comments and ask any questions you might have. Until the next one, bye-bye.